Page 88. He's got the whole world in his hands. Well, what's going on here? Let's talk about this. I'm going to look it over. I see it's 3 lines long. Treble bass clef. No sharps or flats in the key signature. We're in the key of C major, so make sure you're doing the C major scale and the A minor scale too. 4/4 time signature, and we have a pickup measure because there's only a beat and a half in that first measure, the 3/8 notes. So the others got to be somewhere else. If you look at the last measure, it's got 2.5 counts in it. So that's the first 2.5 counts. So we're coming in on the and of 3. 3 and 4 and, those eighth notes. Let's take it one hand at a time, make sure we understand what's going on, especially the rhythm. Right hand is here to start. Actually, you're here because if you look at the first full measure, the thumb is here, so you want here. You kind of got to look ahead sometimes to see where the hand really goes. We're starting to get out of this 5-finger position. So it's here. And 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So you have a dotted rhythm, but the little note comes first. 3 and. 3 and 4 and. There. Measure 2. 1 and 2 and. See, we're playing on the ands. 1 and 2 and. 3 and. If it's a little tricky, maybe, take out that tie on those G's and just play all the notes, because the first 2 beats are tricky enough as they are. 1 and 2 and. 3 and 4 and. That would be playing all the notes. Once you have that, put the tie in. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Then scrunch out 4th finger. And 2 and. Thumb comes down. You changed hand positions there, but then reach up. Back up where you were. And that's basically it. The last 2 measures, you're here. The second finger comes down. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So the rhythm is the tricky, and you're walking around a little bit here. Left hand with just quarter notes. 1, 2. The thumb comes up. Rest. Both hands. Now both fingers. You're not really changing position, just spreading out more. Because in measure 5, you want the little second finger here again. Okay. And then the last 2 measures. You're here. 1, 2. You just have to move. You may have to practice that to make sure you get that okay, because the beat has to be a steady beat. And you hear it's just the 1, the 4, and the 1. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and. You're just up. The last note's a little shorter than the others. And then once I have that, I'll try and put the hands together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. See? 3 and 4 and. Because you can see in the music that C comes in between those quarter notes in the left hand, and that's what happens. Then, see, the left hand in the second full measure is playing quarter notes. The right hand's in between where they're doing this. Once I have the hands put together, then I go back through any trouble spots, get rid of the hesitations. It would be nice if you could get to where you could play most of this without looking at the keyboard, where you can kind of feel where you're moving around a little bit. At the end, you may have to look at that part. But the rest of it would be nice not to look if you can, eventually. Then I think about the articulation. The right hand is connected. Lift up. Lift up. I'm lifting up for the phrases in the right hand. The left hand staccato. I'm hinging on just here. Okay, so I'm connecting one hand and staccato the other. So this, doing different things in the hand. Again, you can practice this with the scales. Practice one hand connected and the other not. then switch them. So you get that feel of doing that. That way when you get it in pieces like this, you can already do it. And then dynamics. Well, the only one they give you is the MF at the beginning. Mezzo forte, moderately loud. That applies to the melody. Here's the right hand. Whatever you think sort of loud is. This left hand needs to be soft. And then the speed, cone spirit, with spirit, happy, quickly. It's how fast would you sing it? Well, it's a happy piece. Watch the last measure. Up. The right hand's not staccato. So that C is by itself at the end. Off. It's not very long because it's an eighth note. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So it's up. In interpreting it, you could lift them at the same time. That's interpretation. But when you're first learning it, you don't interpret it. Play it the way it's written. Because another way of playing this piece, it would be to swing it. Sometimes they swing the rhythm. That'll slow it down a little bit, but nevertheless you swing the eighth notes, you swing the counting. Play it in a blues style or a swing style. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Another way of doing it. Some people like one way, some people like the other way. You choose. Now, there are more words, more verses to this at the bottom of the page. So if you're singing it, you want to do the other verses, you pretend there's a repeat sign at the end, and you just repeat back to the beginning and keep going with the different verses, depending on what he has in his hands at the time. That's all. I'll let you do that. Let's play it together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm going to play even eighth notes here. I'm not going to swing it. I'm only going to do it one time because we're not singing it. I'll give us 2.5 counts. Let's see. If that confuses you, then meet me at the first full measure. 1 and 2 and go.